Hello YouTube. So today I'm gonna talk about all the horror movies I saw in 2024, not of 2024. So don't get it confused. I will do a ranking on that as well. But first, let me get started on this. And my least favorite movie that I saw in 2024 has to be The Babadook. This movie was just so boring. The kid was extremely annoying, and it wasn't really worth the hype, and it wasn't scary to me at all. I give the movie 2 stars. Next is Ouija. This movie has some pretty good jump scares, but because it's PG-13, it didn't really show a lot of carnage, so that was a disappointing. I'll also give the movie I'll give the movie 2.5 stars. I liked it a little bit better than the Babadook. Next will be Killjoy. And I put one and two together because honestly, I find it both equally kind of like mid. Um, the humor was alright. The kills were lame. Most of it was like poorly. They used very poor computer animation for that. I mean, I think the second one is a little bit better because they actually use a little bit of practical effects when it comes to the blood. But aside from that, I thought it was pretty dull. Give the movie 2.5 stars as well. Next would be Sweeney Todd. Um, the movie has some pretty good gore, I guess, but I just couldn't really get into it. I thought it was pretty boring. Also, I also give the movie 3.5 stars as well. Next will be Drive Through. This movie was also pretty boring. I want to give the movie a little bit more credit because it does contain a little bit more gore, more than Killjoy and Part 1 and 2. So yeah, not my favorite. Next will be It 2, or It Chapter 2 from 2019. I definitely like the first one better. This movie does contain some good carnage. I will give them credit for that. Um, Honestly, the movie wasn't that bad. I thought the pacing was extremely slow in the beginning, but and then toward the end, I don't know what the fuck that was about. They could have went a different direction, but yeah, the way the clown died in this one is really stupid. Um, they could have went from the original route where they just all team up and decide to kill the giant clown half spider. But aside from that, I thought the movie was pretty decent. I don't hate as much as other people did. But I think that what killed it was definitely the ending. I thought, or the final battle scene. That kind of like ruined it for like a lot of people, including myself. So yeah, I'll give the movie also 2.5 stars. Next is Uncle Sam. I saw the movie on 4th of July, and this movie was pretty boring too. The pacing of it is really slow, and finally, when it comes down to the third act, that's when the carnage starts to happen, and I thought it was pretty decent. It wasn't too crazy or over the top, so I'm only giving points for that. Next will be Maniac Cop 1 and 2. I put those two together because I find it like equally kind of like mid as well. Pretty boring. Some decent kills here and there. Bruce Campbell for me couldn't really help this franchise, especially when he dies in the second one. But I don't know. It just wasn't for me. I thought it was really mid. Both of them. I saw the first one around Thanksgiving. I mean, not Thanksgiving. St. Patrick's Day because I think that's where it takes place, and then the second one will be on Christmas. So I saw it during the Christmas holiday. Yeah. Next will be Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. I I thought this movie was alright. Um, I don't hate it as much as other people did. I did like the this movie does have some good carnage, although the pacing of the movie was pretty slow. and the actors and actresses weren't really that well either. But then again, this is a low budget movie, so I don't expect them to be um on the same level as Brad Pitt or any other good actor like that. So yeah, I'm mostly just in it for the carnage. The movie does have some pretty good kills. I really enjoyed it for a very low budget movie. I really like the practical effects of the gore and the kills and stuff. Yeah, some of them were CGI, but some of them were not. Next will be Blood Frenzy. Now this movie would have been a lot better, but the fucking um cinematography was extremely bad. I understand this movie is a low budget, but my god, it looked like. Matter of fact, actually, I like Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey better than this one. I don't know why I ranked it a little bit higher than that, but this movie definitely the kills were good. The cinematography, the camera work of the movie looked like they used a freaking potato for this because it looks extremely bad. It got to the point where that was kind of like hurting my eyes a little bit because it was just so bad. But the plot and the kills were good. If this movie was on a higher budget, that definitely will be better. Next will be Ginger Dead Man. I don't know. I mean, they try to make it as good as the Leprechaun movies, but this movie was just it wasn't it for me. It does have some good kills, but most of it I thought it was kind of dull and kind of try hard. Yeah, I didn't really like this one, honestly. It did make me laugh a few times, but not as much as like Leprechaun. Ginger Dead Man 2 is a little bit better. It definitely have a higher budget, but it was still pretty dull and kind of boring towards the first act of the movie. The movie does have some better kills, and yeah, it was fine, but I didn't like it. I didn't like as I did like it a little bit better than the first one, but I didn't like as much. Next will be The Crow. Now this is a pretty I saw the movie in preparation for the remake. I didn't saw the remake because I heard really negative things about it, and I heard it was kind of cringe worthy, so I decided to not watch the remake. But the original was really good. I thought it was I think it's a classic um 1990s gothic action horror movie. I think it's pretty cool. Kind of reminds me of Spawn from 1997 a little bit. This movie has a pretty good soundtrack as well. And yeah, I really like this one. Next one will be Sick. This one was decent. It just feels like another Scream movie, honestly. It was written, I believe it was written and directed by Kevin Williamson. Correct me if I'm wrong. This one was decent. I feel like I feel like they could have been more creative with the kills. Some of the kills were pretty tame and kind of mid, in my opinion. I didn't like as much as other people did. And some of the characters were pretty obnoxious, especially the survivors. They could have died, but instead they survived somehow because I don't know. There's not really much rules in horror movies nowadays. They could have let the virgins live, or the guy who's like more decent. Aside from that, that was good. I thought it was decent. Next will be Zombie. This movie was kind of mid, honestly. This is supposed to be a sequel to Dawn of the Dead, but it was directed by what's that guy's name? He's like an Italian horror director. The practical effects was really good, but the pacing in this movie is pretty boring. Yeah, I didn't really like as much as other people did, so I find this movie mostly just mid. Next will be When Evil Lurks, another movie that was overhyped and overrated in my opinion. The movie does have some good carnage, but it was mostly CGI, which looked completely terrible, and some of the things didn't make no sense to me. So yeah, definitely I didn't like this movie as much as other people did. But I mean, I'll rewatch it again, I guess, if I'm bored. But I don't. Yeah, it was alright. Totally Killer was really fun. This one, this is a really fun movie. I definitely like the kills in this one, especially what's her name? The redhead that was in Scream 6. I forget her name. I think she got the best kill in my opinion. So yeah, and the plot was really good too. Freaky is another one that's similar to Totally Killer. But this one came before. This one is a little bit better in my opinion because I thought the humor was there and it really made me laugh. And definitely like the plot. Really good kills too. Really creative ones as well, and brutal ones. Yeah, I really like this one. Next is The Drill Killer. Um, this movie has some really good carnage. Definitely have a lot of good gore. I like the practical effects of the gore as well. Yeah, definitely good one. Next would be Blood Rage. This movie does have different names, but the one is mostly common is called Blood Rage. This movie has a really good plot and really good kills. Some dark humor as well. I really like this one. Next is The Collector. This one is really good. It's kind of like Saw mixed with I'll say like it's kind of like mixed with John Wick almost, where it's not all about like people in one room getting tortured and stuff like that. They do have a lot of torture stuff in this movie, but there's definitely a lot of running around and there's a lot of like cat and mouse game in this one with the protagonist and the antagonist. And I really like the protagonist, the final guy in this one. Next will be The Collection. They definitely upgrade the gore in this one, and I really like the ending. And hopefully we'll get to see a third sequel because I really like this one. I was disappointed that they couldn't make a third sequel, but hopefully we'll get it sometime. And that's all for my ranking of all the movies that I saw in 2024. I hope you enjoy and you'll have a good one.